Hey everybody, this is Strict 9 with Strict 9 GP, and welcome to another episode of my Out of the Park Baseball 19 GM Challenge with the Reds. And it's kind of been a nice theme in this playthrough, but we are once again making a playoff run. And I've sent ahead a little bit further maybe than usual. We've got 18 games left. We're 5.5 games up in the Central. But I'm not going to say we're cruising. We're still having a little bit of a tough time closing it out. And the main reason for that is with injuries. So that's going to be the first thing I look at before we send anything ahead. But we've just been hit all of a sudden with a ton of injuries in September. Drake Fellows started off. I called him up. He was a September call-up. For the most part, just wanted to give him some more time back in the majors. Due to some injuries on the staff in other areas, I had to put him, or Girardi put him in the starting rotation. As soon as he did, he got injured. I think like one of his first starts, if not his first start, I can't remember, but he got injured in that big injury too, 10 to 11 months. So he's not going to be a factor now for the next couple this rest of this season and next season. And then the big blow, probably the biggest, Tyler Molly went out, having a great season, was on pace at the time for close to 20 wins. But he's going to be injured now for the rest of September for the most part. I'm hoping he'll be ready to go once we get back in, or if we make the playoffs, I should say, knock on wood. I'm hoping he'll be ready to go then, but he's not going to have any rehab time. He's going to have to just go back straight into the playoffs off the DL. And another big injury, Trevor Cadd. This guy's having a great rookie year, probably in line for some Rookie of the Year consideration. And he went down, I think it was a 5-week injury. Let me see when he went down. In August, so August 26th, and now he's going to be gone for 3 weeks. Same situation. It's not going to be until the playoffs before we get him back. And then Santillan was another one. He's not as big of a blow, but since we called him up, he was looking okay in the bullpen. Gave us a good power thrower for the most part, 37 Ks you can see in 28 innings. But he's going to be gone now 3 to 4 weeks. We may not have him available when the postseason rolls around. And I don't think I've been here it's been a while. I think I've simmed through the trading deadline and all that. So we did pick up some guys here and there that I'm hoping are going to ease the pain of these injuries while we make this playoff run. We picked up Tyler Duffy for one. This guy was a 15-game winner in 2021. Still some upside. He's 31 years old. He's a free agent potentially next year. He could opt out of that last contract, and if he doesn't, he's going to give me somebody who I can throw in the mix for maybe the 4th or 5th spot in that rotation. But I picked him up mainly just for bullpen help, and I traded away Ohanian, who I believe now he was still making the minimum, but I just threw some guys out there to see what kind of response I got, and that's what I got, so I went with it. I also picked up, and I brought up quite a few for September. I think maybe 28, so not too many, not as many as I was thinking. But on the offensive side, let me see if I can find him. Escobar. This is a guy that I found around the All-Star break trading deadline, I believe. It was somebody right at the trading deadline. Somebody that I really wanted to kind of help us with the outfield depth. And this is a guy who's a great defensive center fielder. Got great speed, kind of guy that I like. I'm thinking Girardi's going to use him too as well. But Since I picked him up, he's done really well, and right now with Cat out, he is getting the primary starts at center. So he plays good defense. He's got good speed, 11 steals, no caught stealing, 28 for the year between us and Texas. He's batting 288. So he was a good pickup, especially with the injury to Cad that happened later on. But is it going to be enough to get us into the playoffs? And hopefully not just the playoffs, but is it going to be enough for us to stay atop the Central? I would love to go in there as a division winner and not just a wild card. We still, for what it's worth, have the best record in the National League, so that would be a big plus too to hang on to that home field advantage. But you can see looking at the rest of the races, Philadelphia is cruising right now in the East, and man, they're cruising mainly because of Rhys Hoskins. This guy is putting up numbers that you probably have to go back to Babe Ruth, Gehrig, some of those years to see. He's on pace for 67 home runs, 170 RBIs. The RBI total is amazing, 150. I can't remember the most, and I could look it up. I might do that before the next episode. But in terms of the history, I can't remember anybody hitting much more than that, 150 RBIs in this playthrough. So this is going to be more than likely the most I've seen since I've been playing, and that's just incredible numbers, really. But they're in a pretty good spot for the playoffs in the East. Chicago leapfrogged St. Louis. St. Louis kind of calmed down a little bit. They're not the team they were earlier in the season, but San Diego and the Dodgers really battling for that West division right now. And then in the American League, same deal. Toronto and New York neck and neck. Although New York, they have lost 8 of their last 10. They're really tanking a little bit. Minnesota and Kansas City close in the Central. Houston, they're cruising. Houston has had a great run in this playthrough since, so we're at 2022, sorry. I get these confused, but 2022, Houston's had really a great run. Probably the best run of any team since we've been doing this one. But in terms of like the Rhys Hoskins, though, I'm thinking about this playthrough and the Phillies playthrough. I haven't seen any numbers like that, I don't think, since I've been playing in this version. So I'm going to go ahead and get it started. We're going to sim ahead, game at a time, until we see if we make the playoffs. Starting off with Colorado, big win, 6-0. So Trammell, who was injured for a while, back in the lineup, looking good. How about Ramirez, 2 for 4, 37 home runs, 101 RBIs. I think he's really, along with Cad, I think those two guys have great shots for Rookies of the Year. And then Long is playing so much better right now than he was, and his August was good, but his September, 489 batting average, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. And then Chad Green is another story. He did this in spring training. Girardi's doing it again. He's putting Green in the starting rotation. And for what it's worth, he's getting some good luck with him. He doesn't have great stamina. 5 stamina out of a 20 scale. His control could be a little bit better, but look at this game he just pitched. 8 1/3, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. Picked up the win. Pretty amazing, really. So Walker there down for the Dodgers. That could be a big blow for them. He's a fairly decent starter for him. And Ohtani out again for the rest of the year. But back to baseball, game 2. We lose 1-3. Senzel, another good game, 3 for 4. Long, 2 for 4. He's just been really hot. Castillo, though, 5 innings, took the loss, even though he only gave up 1 earned run. And Herget is now taking over the closer duties with Green moved over to the starting rotation, and Matty Machado out for the Angels. And third game, we do win the series 10-6. Big offensive game here for us. Ramirez 3 for 4, another home run. Trammell scored a couple. Mangum looking pretty good there since he's had to get some play time due to injuries. He has responded well, hitting over 300. Good on base percentage. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. And Bellinger. It looks like Bellinger hit a grand slam. Is that right? Yep. A grand slam in this game. He has been really another positive. He's mainly just getting pinch hit at bats. He's only started a couple games, but look at these numbers: 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 44 at bats. A 386 average, a 636 slugging percentage. That's really impressive. Weaver wasn't able to pick up the win in this one, but Herget got his 8th save. And so now we're looking at, I'm hearing a little bit of a hum coming. Hopefully it's not coming through the speakers. Let me see if I can adjust that. There we go. It's a little bit better. And then Bruce Rondon out. So now we're going to be at Milwaukee. We've had, knock on wood, pretty good luck with Milwaukee so far this year, but they could play spoiler here on the road. First game, we lose 4-11, so our lead over Chicago down to 4.5. Not good. And looks like Ramirez had a good game. Keuchel, he's up to 10 wins for the season, but man, he was hammered in this game. So now we're game 2 against Milwaukee, 4-7. Man, we can't do this now. Ramirez, another big home run. It may have been a grand slam. 4 RBIs. He's up to 39 home runs. Tyler Duffy getting the start now. Looked okay. Bullpen, though, and maybe some bad defense. Looked like we had 3 errors in this game. Probably cost it for us. So now we're down. Last game against Milwaukee, and we pull out a win. We needed that one, and that keeps us 4.5 games over Chicago. Ramirez finishing off the season really strong. So's Senzel. Senzel average up to 284 now. That would be the highest he's hit since his rookie season if he keeps it up. Andrelton Simmons 4 for 5, 3 RBIs. What else is good here? Long continues to hit. I think Ramirez is almost locking up that rookie of the year. And Chad Green got another start and another win. So I wouldn't do that experiment myself, but for the most part, it's working. And so now we're looking at Scott Kingery. What's he up to? 20 straight games he's hit in. And Players of the Week, Matt Olson, who's turned into a really good offensive player in the American League for Oakland. And then Eric Ramirez for Cincinnati. How about that? He was 12 for 25, hit 480, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. And weekly power rankings, we are 6th, but Chicago is ahead of us in that. They've won 7 of their last 10. Our magic number down to 9 with 12 to play. So it's going to come down to the wire here. There's no question. It's going to be a tough run. And it looks like Rhys Hoskins is stuck on 150 RBIs. He hasn't gone beyond that since we last looked at it. So we're going to be at Philadelphia and at Pittsburgh this week. That's 2 teams I don't really want to be on the road against right now, especially Philadelphia. So Pittsburgh, we lose 0-2. Not good. Still 4.5 over Chicago for what it's worth, but Castillo pitched a good game. He's having some hard luck losses here. 5 innings, just 1 earned run, but no offense this game. Second game against Pittsburgh on the road. It's taking a while, and we managed to win in extra innings, 7-5. Still up 4.5 over Chicago. Looks like Trammell had a good game leading off. Escobar at center had a pretty good game, although his averages has slipped a little bit for us since we started this playthrough. Weaver wasn't too bad, but he couldn't hang on and get the win, and Herget won it in extra innings. So now last game against Pittsburgh, and we win 2-0 to pick up a game over Chicago. More importantly, Senzel 2 for 3, Strata 3 for 4. But man, how about that 1 through 4, no hits? But Keuchel got his 11th win, looked really good in this one. 8 innings, 5 hits, no walks, no runs, 8 Ks. So now let me see. New York Yankees, they're in the postseason. Our magic number is down to 5, and still have the best record in the National League for the most. Yeah, we're 3 up over Chicago or San Diego and Los Angeles. So man, but we got a 4-game series on the road against Philadelphia. This is not going to be good. First game, and we lose 4-5. Wow, Rowdy Tellez, 4 home runs in a game. I haven't seen that much either. So how did this one go? Ramirez got his 40th home run. Tyler Duffy didn't pitch too well, and bullpen couldn't hold it for us. Now game 2 against Philadelphia, a big win, 9-3. Trammell, good game. His averages slipped down to 278. Ramirez was injured. Oh boy, but it's a minimal injury. But I hope that doesn't hurt us. But man, look at Bellinger, 1 for 3, scored a couple, drove in a couple. Andrelton Simmons, another good game. Chad Green, 7 walks in this game. That hurt him. Hunter Green got the win in relief. And now looking at the news, Brad Brock is going to retire. He was with us a couple years ago. So we secured the wild card at least. San Francisco's out. Milwaukee looks like they're getting rid of their management team. So game 2-3 against Philadelphia. We lose 2-5. Chicago now 4 games back. Ramirez getting the start there, even though he's injured. We're going to have an off day coming up. Hopefully that'll help out. Castillo, 5 innings, 3 runs. So he was another poor offensive performance from us, kept him from having a chance in this one. So last game against Philadelphia, can we salvage a split? And we don't. We lose 5-6 in extra innings. Ramirez, 2 for 3. Scared me a little bit that he's still staying in there. Almora was 4 for 5 in this one. Good game from him. Wow, it's really going to come down to the wire. So the Blue Jays are in. Jay Bruce still playing. He's with Cleveland or Houston now, and Player of the Week. He's still turning it on. I wonder what his. He was gone from this team, by the time we started this playthrough, but he's up to 371 career home runs right now. And then Bryce Harper, who we just played, he was Player of the Week in the National League. And weekly team rankings, Chicago 3rd, we are 8th. So we are really limping into the playoffs right now. We are still hanging on to the best record in the National League, but it's barely there. I mean, we're 89, 2 wins above Los Angeles. Our next few games are going to be against Detroit, and then we're going to close it out against Chicago. So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 games against Chicago, or just 3? I can't tell. So we're down to just 5 games left. So how we do in these next 2 games against Detroit, I think, is probably going to determine a lot whether we're going to be able to hang on to the playoffs or hang on to that division lead. So Yankees win the East, it looks like. Is that right? San Diego secures a wild card, but let me look and see. Yeah, New York looks like they clinched. All right, so game 1 against Detroit, please win. We do, 8-1. So we hold our lead against Chicago. They're just 2.5 games back. So this game, Trammell, a great game. Ramirez, a good game. He's now injured for another couple of days, so he should be ready to go completely healthy by that Chicago series. Trammell with a good game in this one too, if I didn't mention it. Keuchel, another great game. 7 innings, just 1 earned run, 9 strikeouts. So now, Vladimir Guerrero with 3 home runs in a game. Minnesota, they're going to be tops in the Central and the American League, and it looks like Chicago is in now. They're in the wild card. All right, so game 2 against Detroit, another big win, 10-4, and Stewart looks like he had 3 home runs in that game. Is that possible? Was he there? Yeah, 3 solo home runs in the game. But for us, Escobar had a pretty good game there, leading off the top of the order. Trammell's good game. Ramirez again a good game. Senzel average getting closer to 290 now. And then pitching wise, Duffy picked up the win, 6 innings. He hasn't looked too bad as a starter. If I'm looking at his splits as a starter, I take that back. What is that? 6.64 ERA. But for September, I think he's been pitching a little bit better of late. So now news. Mets out of the playoffs. Philadelphia wins the National League East. So it's going to come down to this last series. Is it? Now, Tyler Mahle, recovery unclear. I don't like to see that. All right, so let's get it started. Game 1. This could be we win this one and we clinch the division, and we lose 1-2. So Chicago making it. They're going to make it interesting. 89-71, just 2 games back from us. Green. This is why I'm really not cool with him being in that starting rotation. He only got 4 1/3 innings. I mean, he's not going to have the stamina to get through too much. But let me go ahead. I'm just going to take a break from it. I'm going to look at the player development update for a bit. See if there's any guys. Well, Bellinger lost some, even though he's played really well. Taylor Trammell picked up some. He's now a 3.5-star player. Carter Stewart, who is injured, but he is a pretty high. He was a first-round pick, high starting pitcher that I picked a few years ago, and I'm hoping that he has a chance to make it eventually. Wano Valley, I'm not sure about this guy. He's at AA right now. He was a first-round pick, but I don't really know that he's really ready for the Southern League, even though his numbers should be there. I think he's going to have to stay there next year and see if he can work out the kinks, but he's not doing too well. All right, so just wanted to make sure. Jackson Miller's a big prospect too. He's looking good. So players of the month, Stanton in the American League. He's up to 53 home runs now. Let me see how many he's got for his career. 546. Bryce Harper, player of the month in the National League, having a great year again. Pitching, Tanaka. Wow, he's still hanging around in Toronto. 14 wins for him this year. And then Clayton Kershaw with the Mets, having a good year. Well, I should say, since he's come off the DL, he's looking good. And then rookies of the month, once again, it went to Eric Ramirez for Cincinnati in the National League. But game 2 now. This is another big important game, and we're gonna have to do it on the last day of the season. That really sucks. And Stanton up to a 20-game hitting streak. Don't expect that from him. And is this Chicago, the White Sox, a trade this late in the season? That's weird. So there's no suspense here. I mean, we win one of these, one of the two, and we do. So we hang on and win the division on the last day of the season in a doubleheader at home against Chicago. That's good baseball, but man, I was hoping we didn't have to go that close with it. So the first game we lost 5-2 in extra innings. So that was a nail biter too. Senzel was pretty good in this game, 3 for 5. Castillo had a good start. He was really bad luck down the stretch. But then game 2, 6-4. Ramirez came through 3 for 3, scored 1. He finishes with a 307 batting average. Escobar, a good game, scored a couple runs. And then Keuchel, his 13th win of the year. So I'm really, really happy that I picked him up, especially now going into the playoffs without potentially Molly. This guy really, I think he was as good as I could have hoped for, honestly. He's not, is that a $21 million pitcher performance? Probably not. But in this league, the way things have gone, it's really tough to get a pitcher who's going to, give you, what did he give me, 32, 33, 34 starts, 212 innings, and pick up 13 wins. That's pretty good. So I'm going to take a look at the news. So weekly team power rankings, Chicago's still up there above us, but do we have any? We never have any players who show up under these minor league awards. I wish we did. Nobody there either. But so we win the East or Central, and the Dodgers win the West. Let's take a look at the standings. We do finish with the best record in the National League, so we're going to have home field advantage through the playoffs. It's going to be Philadelphia in the East, Cincinnati, and then the Dodgers, and then the wild cards will be San Diego and Chicago. That should be a pretty good one. Chicago will be home for that one. And then looking at batting average, Ramirez wound up hitting third. It was a pretty low year. Cad was leading until he got injured. Hoskins finished with 63 home runs, 160 RBIs. Taylor Trammell led the league in stolen bases. That's pretty cool to see. Trevor Cad did have the longest hitting streak in the National League. Castillo finished second in earned run average. DeGrom had a good year too. Looks like 210 strikeouts. Thomas Hatch, 17 wins. And then in the American League, the Yankees won the East, but it looks like Toronto and Boston both made the wild card. And then you got Minnesota in the Central. Houston, best record with the Yankees, tied with best record in baseball. Easily won the West. See, it looks like Mike Trout probably had another good year. 48 home runs, 108 runs scored. I mean, he did his typical Mike Trout year. Guerrero Jr. led the league in batting average. Pretty high wins above replacement. He might be a favorite already to win that MVP award again. Stanton for what is this going to be? The 6th straight year he led the league in home runs. 5 straight with the Yankees. And then Tellez, big year, 145 RBIs. Lance McCullers, you don't see this very often, but 20 wins. He had a great year, 285 ERA, which I think that it did lead the league. Noah Syndergaard at Toronto also had a good year, 19 wins. He's having a good career in this playthrough. And then anything else to look at? Nah, nothing really big. But the big thing for us, of course, right now is that disabled list. We got Cad's going to be off in a day, which is good. So we're going to set our playoff roster, and man, we're going to have to do it before Molly is available, unfortunately. So that's a big blow. Hopefully, if we can get through that first series, hopefully Molly will be available for, if we make it to the league championship series. But man, this game will like the real game of baseball, it's just the way it goes. But injuries will just really punch a hole in your tire. You're going along and everything's looking so good, and then your top winning pitcher gets injured for the rest of the year. And I haven't looked at the team stats, but you can see we limped into those playoffs. We were 13-14 in September. 1-1 in October. So we did not even play above 500 for that last month of the season. So that's worrisome. I know it has a lot to do with that Molly injury and maybe even the CAD injury, but at least we'll have him back. So I'm going to take a look at this before we go. Maybe we'll have something here. This is Most Valuable Player Awards for the International League. And nope, not seeing any Louisville players there. And we don't have anybody in the Pacific Coast. And this is what, the California League. We don't have anybody there either. All right, so what's going to happen next? I'm going to be setting that playoff roster and getting ready for another year of the playoffs. This is going to be now, well, they want the manager transaction history. So 5 seasons of GMing on this Cincinnati Reds. We didn't finish with their best record. I was hoping that we would, but once again, we won the division. So out of 5 years, we've made the playoffs 4 times, won the division twice, wild card twice. I'm hoping with that best record in baseball and the home field advantage, I'm hoping that gives us a good shot. But, looking at that pitching staff right now, he's going with Green, Keuchel, Castillo. I really wish we had Molly to throw out there, but I'm going to have to look at the playoff roster too, because there's going to be some of those guys. I know it's not going to make it, but for instance, Scott Moss, he's not going to make it. Jimmy Herget's going to make it though. Why is he off? So Christopher Rivera. So I'm going with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pitchers. Sounds about right. I'm going to move Rivera off, put Herget in there. And then Trevor Cad is going to be playing for, this is a big question here. I think I want to keep Escobar. Almora struggled. Mangum didn't. Oh boy, this is a big choice here. And then there's the, wow, gosh, what a choice. I mean, I really think Justin Bellinger had a better run there down the stretch, so I'm gonna keep him and go with my scouts ratings. And I think I'm going to, boy. Decisions, it's killing me. I think I'm going to have Cad come in for Almora, at least for this first round of the playoffs, and that's gonna Cad will be in right, Escobar, Trammell, and then against lefties and righties. So I think that with Mangum backing up and then Gibson, so I think that'll be pretty good. I mean, Gibson doesn't give you the defense that Almora gives you, but Gibson gives you a lot of home runs, and well, he does give you pretty good defense at the corners. He's lost a lot. His average is down 238. He didn't even get to start a whole lot of time down the stretch. So that's where we're going, and that's how we're looking going into the playoffs. So next episode, we'll be playing out some playoff games. Not sure who we'll be playing. I think we're going to have to take on either Chicago, either the Cubs or the Padres. I don't really know who I'm hoping for in that situation. I'm kind of hoping it's going to be the Padres, but the Cubs would be, that would be an exciting matchup. But as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate the likes and the subscribes when I get them, and hope you enjoy the series. Maybe this is a year we can win the series and put it to bed, win the World Series. But I'll see you next episode for some playoff time. Thanks.